Hey everybody, as you can see, the sign says Making Memories in May. My name is John DePietro, and this is part of RVing in New England, and I am with Mr. Mark LeBreck at Diamond RV at Hatfield, Massachusetts.
Good afternoon, John, even though you were supposed to be here in the morning.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So here's the scoop, Mark. As I was pulling down the highway here, I noticed that you've got kind of units for everybody, from travel trailers to fifth wheels to motorized. Really something for everyone, don't you?
You know, it's funny because before you got here, we were doing our commercial for our May and June specials and looking forward a little bit and talk a lot about building memories. And I'm second generation. I was talking to my dad's ex-business partner yesterday from way back in the 80s, and starting to date myself a little bit. And I read their newspaper because they owned an RV dealership back then, and they separated trailers and motorhomes. And they were proud that they separated trailers and motorhomes. Well, you know what? It's all one big camping family, and it's not about separation. It's about, let's just get it done. So along with motorhomes and trailers and fifth wheels, well, heck, there's new and used.
Exactly.
You know, so
there's so many different categories.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when you came
travel trailers, fifth wheels, towables,
pop-ups,
motorized,
truck campers. You know what? That's the great thing. When I hire somebody in this business, I go, you know what? This is not going to be working at Spalding's, putting the same 3 tennis balls in the same can. Every day is going to be different, you know, and that's a great thing about this business.
Yeah, exactly. So we're in a pre-owned unit right now. And when I walked in this thing, I said, Mark, this feels so secure and steady and heavy. And tell us about this particular unit that we're in right now.
Make yourself comfortable. So let's talk about this for a minute. You know, John, every time you come in, it seems like we always gravitate over to a Newmar. You know, it's not everybody's going to buy a Newmar. We know that. But that usually ends up where we're going. So this coach here is a 2004 Holiday Rambler Navigator, where back in the day, this was about as good as it got.
You can feel it. I mean,
the cabinetry, you know, the rope lighting, it has aqua hot. Well, let's go a step farther, John. You know, for that person that has a budget, and this is still a tall budget, this motorhome back in 04 was $469,000. And, you know, you get the people that you know, they want that rock-solid motorhome. I have people that I race with that want big diesel horsepower. 500 horsepower.
Cummins diesel, Cummins Cat,
The big chassis. We just put 8 new tires on it. It's got aqua hot, so it's got instant hot water. It's got electric awnings, electric window awnings. Well, you know what? It's at $109,000 now.
So 2004, you must have at least 150,000 miles on this.
You know, 21,500 miles on this coach.
121?
21,000 miles.
Wait, Mark, hold on.
No, 21,000.
Hold on. It's a 200004.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's got 21,000 miles on it.
There's a lot.
So it's basically brand new.
It's a brand new coach. I think I mentioned to you before we started that this particular motorhome, we used our employees. We left it at a campground in Florida, and we used it a little bit around Florida. But the people that work for us at Diamond RV are campers. We encourage our staff to go camping. So this coach was down there in Florida. They were able to use it. And we just brought it back because it gets to a point where it's got to find a home.
Now, isn't that a novel idea? You have a business that sells campers, that it probably would be smart to have your employees go camping and kind of know what they're talking about.
Wouldn't it be nice if you bought a camper and you know, that's our whole theory is, you know, we're trying to sell campers, but you know, you called your salesperson up because the hot water heater wouldn't light. And you know, you're driving your house down the road, so wouldn't it be neat that you could call your salespeople and they might have a clue on how to fix it without going down the whole list? Well, if they use an RV, they can probably help you fix the RV.
Or at least they're kind of accustomed to, you know, where things are and certain switches. You know, like you've got your generator running, but there's no power to the microwave. Well, it's usually one switch.
I had a very good friend of mine yesterday call me. He bought a motorhome from a competitor because he's from Pennsylvania, and it was one of the big box store competitors. We'll leave it at that. And he calls me up and goes, "Hey, I went in my motorhome and I have no power, I have no lights, I have no nothing, but the engine's running." And I goes, "Well, did you turn the battery shutoff switch on?" And he goes, "Excuse me?
What?
The battery what?" I goes, "The battery shutoff switch." He goes, "Well, it says off, does that mean that the battery shut-off switch is off and I have power? No, put the battery switch on and you have power. And, you know, he goes, how do you know that? Well, it comes with
50 years.
a long time of doing it.
Yep.
I had hair when I didn't know.
50 years, exactly. But I'm just looking at this carpeting, and it's that, what do we call it? Embroidered carpeting.
Yeah. This is really neat, Coach, and there's not a lot of them around. Being a Newmar dealer, we get some really cool trades. And
Yep, right.
you know, this one wasn't a trade. There was, we'll just say some people got older and didn't use it anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of times they keep it in
What's
a
that
spot.
called? Attrition?
Yeah, it's called the reality of, you know, but you know what? There's another reason to buy your unit when you're young enough to travel.
Oh, too many people wait too long to do this.
You know what?
And we see it, and God bless them. You know, we've been doing it a long time, and you want to be able to go out there and enjoy life.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us about Diamond and where people can come to see the full selection of units that you've got available.
So, you know, I think we're in our, close to 30 years now here at Diamond RV Center. Hatfield, Mass, Western Massachusetts. You know, the leaves are starting to come out, and, you know, we're going to start cutting some grass. We're going to be able to go out in the field. So we're right off of Interstate 91, real easy between exit 21 and 22. You won't miss us. 17 acres, big service department, great parts store. You had just told me that you need to buy a hose before you leave.
Yep.
So, you know, we've got a large, friendly staff, and our staff knows the RV business. So come on.
Let's talk about that hose for 1 second. There are people that say, "Oh, I'm going to save some money and I'm going to go to a big box store,
right,
an orange store or a blue store,
sure,
and buy something that is, you know, for my RV,
yeah,
so I can save $1." Okay, with those hoses, you just don't. If you want drinking water in your RV,
that's right, yeah,
you don't just buy the garden hose that's on sale at your local hardware store.
And you know, I had to catch myself, John, because when you said that, you know, I was almost ready to say, hey, John, just go to Walmart. And I didn't look at what hose you were looking at.
Yep.
That is the RV style hose. So what the hose we're talking about is one of the collapsible snake hoses that everybody is selling right now. But we have one that's dedicated to RV usage, so you just won't get that taste in your mouth.
Yeah, and there's a lot of junk out there when it comes to look-alike products that you're going to see in the big stores.
And you know, that goes from fake Rolexes to make-believe diesel pusher motorhomes to hoses to toilet chemicals.
Yep. So you got the store. I noticed there was a person out there that needed the dump and a propane fill at the same time, and you took care of both at the same time.
That's a real neat thing. You know, recently I hired a service technician, and as I was interviewing him, I asked at the other place he worked if they did a manometer test, which is a propane leak test, and he goes, "A what?" I said, "Well, I thought you prepped trailers." And he goes, "I do." I goes, "Well, what did you do for propane?" He goes, "Well, we used to take the propane bottles off and bring them to a hardware store and have them filled." Well, this particular RV dealership doesn't even have a propane fill station. You know, whether it's Diamond RV or wherever you buy it, buy from a full service store that's going to do yourself justice. You know, your one-stop shop. You come in home on a Saturday afternoon and you want to dump your tanks, you want to rinse your tanks out, we've got that dump station. We can accommodate you by filling your propane at the same time. Come on in the store.
Okay, and you're saying one more thing, and we're going to go in a second. But filling your propane at an RV dealership is going to give you a little bit different than filling your propane from a person who only fills gas grills.
So I remember in the day, I did it last year when I was in Florida, not in the day, but I took my 20-pound propane bottle and went over to the local Agway store, and it was $24 to fill my propane bottle. I took 2 gallons of propane. When you go to an RV dealership, it's metered propane, and we bill you by the gallon. So that $24 bill probably would have been more like $5 or $6.
Great. Hey, we want to thank you so much, Mark. And this is RVing in New England. Making memories in May. There we go again. We're going to put that sign up.
There you go.
So
it's in May.
Come in, make some memories, and see Mark and all the great people here at Diamond RV.
Thank you much.